Tent living and being homeless aren't the same thing. In terms of language, the word homeless is extremely loaded and comes with a heavy burden. So we'll speak more in terms of mentality. Think of it as a metaphor. Tent living is like camping with family. You have a grill, your camp is well organized, plenty of food, you go for hikes, explore, and sit around a fire with your friends. And the only thing to ever worry about are mosquitoes and the occasional bear. And at the end of the whole thing, you and your family go back home with experiences to remember. Homelessness is like a deserted island with no vegetation or animals. And yet, there is always a boat waiting for you, but you never choose to get in and sail. I'm sure there are many reasons why they don't. From what I've seen, most of the time the people we call homeless are just like any of us, but the pain is more obvious. You know, life can get pretty messy. But no matter who you are, and no matter the trauma, whether family-related, societal, economical, or all of the above, it's hard to move around with so much emotional density. So much so that they can't see past their pain and illusion or fear. All they see is the deserted island and stay there. That is why most try to self-medicate with substances. It's an illusionary shortcut to relaxation and upliftment. Above happiness, however, relief is really what we're looking for. But if you think about it, were we ever really shown how to handle and move through our emotions, or taught how to release them in a healthy way, and find relief growing up as a kid? Maybe. Personally, my parents taught me very little, as they weren't taught much themselves, yet of course they managed. But love is powerful, and I've always felt so much from them, so I think naturally they did pretty well. I personally like to think we are all born with this kind of love, and with a big heart. Almost everything in nature shows me that in some way, life is naturally choosing to be happy, as if maybe it was biased toward the positive, just a little. And that would make sense, as how else would things grow, if nature wasn't so opportunistic? Have you heard how happy birds are in the morning? I know you've seen it in your dog, or a young child, the warmth of the sun, or the colors of a sunset, and Canadians. I'm thankful my parents had enough emotional stability to commit to their decision to raising 3 kids together in this world. They did just that and went through their emotions the best they could. I'm proud of them. Every once in a while I'd find my dad outside on the front porch sitting on a bench overlooking the sun setting, watching and quietly taking it in. Sometimes he'd have a beer in his hand, but hey, my dad knew something. He knew. Imagine if elementary and high schools today taught meditation and the value of going through our feelings and emotions. How much different things would be. It seems like we're only taught how to handle our emotions when we've already done something bad and feel outcasted. Or as a punishment from the whatever judicial system, if you have a domestic case, they sometimes make you take an anger management class or something. But by that point, it's already too late, don't you think? Maybe problems really do create profit, but that's another topic. And I understand, this is just where we are at the moment, so the system has run a certain way, with a consciousness we once had. So this is just where we've been. But our mentality is changing. If you've noticed, many of us are on a path to healing, in many different ways, actually wanting to evolve. Eating healthier, thinking healthier, being healthier, working hard on their craft. Even Carl's Jr. has a vegan burger. A trend, maybe, but who cares? It's a good one. It's a great time of change, as you know, as you can feel. A great time to be alive. An awakening? Maybe, but I won't get lost in naming things. Wouldn't things be a lot different if we were to value the silence of this world and slow down? How else would we be able to feel anything if we're constantly distracted and numbing? How long before they can realize the boat is just sitting right there? For me, tent living will only be temporary. But the value of exploring, connecting, embracing life in this world, to remain opportunistic, I can take with me forever, as I am that anyway. After all, why are we here? But I'm sure with the right equipment, you can most certainly make it a more permanent nomadic experience. Tent living, that is. Imagine having a solar-powered pop-up geodesic dome tent with great insulation and fancy technology. It isn't impossible to make being a nomad a permanent and socially acceptable thing. We are truly nomadic anyway. And if you're thinking about tent living, or already out on the streets yourself, you can ask yourself now, should I be homeless or go camping?